I play mind games with myself sometimes, which I wouldn't suggest, where I'm like, oh, like I'll be in the middle of a shot and I'll be thinking about what the commentator's saying, or I'll be thinking about what they think I should throw, or what, like there'll be a voice in the back of my head that's like, oh, well, you didn't hit this shot yesterday. What makes you think you're going to hit it today? Like things like that. Don't ever do that to yourself. It's such a bad idea. It's awful. Don't do that to yourself. It sucks.
My name is Adriel Loshak, and the goal of this channel is to help cornhole players achieve whatever level of cornhole they choose, whether that's simply to win more at your local blind drills, or like me, become an ACL pro.
My name is Miranda Coy. I'm an ACL pro, and my sponsors are Lucky Bags Cornhole, East Coast Beach Baggers, and 360 Communications.
Do you have any pre-game rituals, meditations, or anything you do at the beginning?
I like to meditate, like mindfulness meditate in the morning before the tournament starts, just to get my day like started off right.
What is mindful meditation?
So I think it's different for a lot of people. Mindful meditation for me is just starting my day off, like I don't look at my phone, I don't, do any of these things. I just sit kind of in silence. Most of the time, everybody's getting ready, so I'm kind of just like there by myself. But I like to just kind of sit in silence and think about my goals for the day and think about what I'm grateful for, what I'm thankful for, and, thank God that I woke up today, I have the opportunity to come and play in this event. So for me, that's what mindfulness meditation is, and just kind of grounding yourself and realizing that you should be really thankful for the position that you're in, whether you're having a good tournament or not. We're throwing 4 bags to the board, so sometimes you just got to put yourself in a little bit of perspective, no matter how important those 4 bags are that day or not. Outside of that, I would say I pray before I go on TV. I always go into the corner and just pray.
Very specific prayer, or something?
I typically pray to like my loved ones, and then obviously to God. But I just, ask for the grace, the courage, and the strength to go out and do my best. And if my best is the best that day, then that is what it is. And if not, to give me the grace to walk away and not be upset with myself, even though I may have lost that game.
You had a bad throw or a bad round. It's not the end of the world. You're now losing 12-8. What do you do to bring yourself back to play at the highest level?
I would say I've gotten better at this, about not beating yourself up. I do still have times where I'll beat myself up going into the next round, but just especially like 12-8 in this scenario, you're not down by a lot. So 4 points is very easy. I try to think about the fact that it's 2 misses from them, which I can either manufacture myself or they're going to miss eventually most of the time. So try not to take it too hard on yourself. I like to think about a lot of things that I've done right in the game and a lot of things that I can continue to do right. Even if you messed up, it's not that big of a deal. I just try to take it very lightly and just take some breaths. Lori has a quote that she likes to give me: be calm, be cool, just stay consistent, and just trust in yourself and be confident. So even though you mess up, it's not the end of the world. You got another 4 bags coming back this way. So
anything specific that you say to yourself, or any specific movements that you do, or anything like actual specifics that you actually do in that moment?
Most of the time, to be honest, if I feel like I messed up very badly, I think it's the song in my ears, so I will change the music, if I'm being very honest. Or I'll start the song over. What a lot of people don't know is if I start the day out playing really well, and I'm listening to one band or one song, I will repeatedly listen to the same thing all day until it starts to not go in my favor. It's totally a mental thing, but the music is a big part of it for me, and it kind of just blocks out, thinking about anybody but myself and my bags. So I would probably change the song, to be honest. I would change the song or start it over, depending on what it was.
Quickly, guys, if you'd like to support the channel even more than watching videos, please subscribe.
Your opponent is doing something that's annoying you and it's affecting your game.
Okay.
What do you do?
Well, it depends on what it is. If it's something under the rules, we have some rules to protect us. If it's like a distraction rule, you can obviously, call over an official and they have to stop if it's a distraction for you. It's happened to me, and I've never called anybody on it, but it's happened to me. If it's not, I would say that I typically would maybe take a timeout and give myself the 60 seconds just to breathe, think about it, and just to get over it. If it's something that's happening, every bag, I would typically throw my bag and then step off, just because some people do it inadvertently when they're down, or they really want to beat you. There are some people that will do whatever they can, but just keeping yourself cool-headed would be the best advice I could give probably. I would just take a timeout, step off. And I have in games before, you get a bunch of timeouts. So use them. A lot of people don't use their timeouts adequately. So I would just take a timeout and go down and breathe and grab my drink and just realize that it's not about me. It's just something that they probably do in their routine. It has nothing to do with me. So just not take it personally and do what I can to keep in my rhythm.
Your partner in a blind draw is playing really badly.
Okay.
What do you do to help them out?
I think it depends. I think it depends on like what your goal is going into it. If you're super new and you want advice, then I am more than helpful. I'm more than willing to help. If you just want to come out and have a good time and it doesn't matter to you, then it doesn't matter to me. It's not something that I'm ever going to be like, you need to throw back. It doesn't really matter to me. But if you want like help and you're like, oh, how do I learn to throw a bag like you? Or how do I, stay more calm? Or like, I'm really anxious. How do I fix it? I'm more than willing to help. I just go down, show you some of the things that I do. A lot of people think that a lot of newer people think that you have to start out with a flat bag, which my best advice is to just find your natural throw and just throw that. If your natural throw is straight up and down, throw it like that. Master what your natural throw is and then what you're comfortable doing before you try to skip steps 1, 2, 3, and 4 and jump straight to step 25. Throwing a flat bag isn't something that you have to have. There's a lot of people in the league that don't. So a lot of people have asked me how to do that who are not throwing well in blind draws. But I think it just depends on what you want. If you're just out here to have a good time, then we're having a good time. We're going to crack a couple of beers and we're just going to have fun. So if you want my help, I'm more than happy to help you. But just find your natural throw and be comfortable. That's my best advice.
Everybody knows the best way to get good at anything is to practice. If you'd like to practice more cornhole, but you don't know where to start, you get bored of practice, or you've hit a plateau, click the link below for our free practice guide. Depending on when you watch this video, it's either going to be a free practice guide or a full-on practice app with over 15 different games to improve your cornhole ability. Regardless, click the link below, download the guide, and start making every shot you should.
Your chosen partner, Lori, is playing really bad. What do you do?
It doesn't happen ever. But I think I would probably, if we were in the middle of a game, take a timeout and just, ask her what's up. Is there something on your mind? Are you feeling really anxious? Is there anything I can do about it? Are you nervous at all? It doesn't happen a lot. I would say it happens to me more than it happens to her. I would say it's maybe happened one time where she was just really nervous and she was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know why I'm not throwing like I normally do. But in that instance, I would just take a timeout and be like, hey, it's not a big deal. This is just a game. It's just 4 bags out of board with a hole in it. This is something that we do for a living, but we also do for fun. So like, hey, stay calm and cool and let's just have some fun. And the second that you decide to just be calm about it, you'll be fine.
Do you play any mind games?
I would say that I have played mind games before. I play mind games with myself sometimes, which I wouldn't suggest.
Elaborate that.
I mind games with myself where I'm like, I'll be in the middle of a shot and I'll be thinking about what the commentator's saying, or I'll be thinking about what they think I should throw, or what, like, there'll be a voice in the back of my head that's like, oh, well, you didn't hit this shot yesterday. What makes you think you're going to hit it today? Like, things like that. Don't ever do that to yourself. It's such a bad idea. It's awful. Don't do that to yourself. It sucks. But I have played mind games before. It's not something I would suggest doing as a professional athlete. It's not. There are going to be people that play mind games against you, but as I have grown in the sport, I have learned that has nothing to do with me, and I'm just not somebody who wants to do that to another fellow athlete, whether you're a pro or not. I want to treat you with respect and treat you with the utmost, grace, and not do that to you. As of someone who was 19 to 20 when they started, I had done that before, and I would say that it's not nice. Don't do it. It's not great.
Give an example that you think someone was playing mind games against you and it could have affected you or it could have not affected you.
I've had people this season play mind games against me about like shuffling my bags, calling me out on it.
What was that?
About shuffle my bags. I don't know if people know this, but like I look like I got anxiety. I shake like a chihuahua sometimes. So I kind of to keep my hands busy while I'm not actively throwing. So I've had people play mind games like that just because they know it'll mess up my rhythm. I've had people just cold shoulder me in the past that I'm now friends with. The thing that you don't realize is there's a lot of things going on in a lot of people's lives. So a lot of the things that you think are mind games probably aren't mind games. They're just in funk or in not having a good day or in a weird spot, or there's just something going on in their life that you don't know about. So I would say that I would like to approach that with grace and assume that no one's playing mind games with me. But there have been times where it gets a little upsetting, especially because, like I said, just as much as they might be dealing with something, I could also be dealing with something that nobody knows about. So give everybody a little grace. Just assume that it's not mind games. It could be, and it has been before, but just assume that it's not.
How did you learn to have a better mindset?
I learned to break out of my old mindset into my new mindset from just reading a lot of sports psychology books that were recommended to me by someone who's a lot smarter than I am, by picking a really good partner, someone who's always going to be there for you. It keeps you kind of in that mindset that win or lose, you always have somebody who's going to be on your side. And just getting older, realizing to act on empathy and grace with a lot of people. And I think maturity comes with a lot of it, but I would say the books were a big part of it. I would recommend a lot of books because they're good. Just educating yourself further than you would think that you need to be educated.
Name some of those books.
The first book I ever read was Fight Your Fear and Win, given to me by Lori Dole for my first ever pro national, and I read it repeatedly whenever I'm really struggling. I've read The Master of the Mental Game, The Champion's Mind, and there's one I'm reading right now called 11 Rings, and it has absolutely nothing to do with sports psychology, but it is a book by Phil Jackson, who was the coach of the Chicago Bulls during their 6 rings era. So just learning from people who are more successful than you are currently, and taking little things from everybody and building your own mentality gives you a strong armor against a lot of things.
Is there anything else that you would like to add about?
I would just say don't be too hard on yourself. No matter where you are in your life, whether you are 12 or 65, you are still learning things that maybe you should have already known or that you're going to learn down the road. And just don't be too hard on yourself. Give yourself the grace to learn and grow as you go. That's it.
If you liked this video, please subscribe. Also, click the link below for a free practice app and start making every shot you should.